Johnson Ari and his wife Glory have spent more than 6 years looking for a baby. They had been to several clinics and even visited many traditional healers, but didn't achieve any positive results. Now, thanks to assisted reproductive technology, the couple has just had twins. This technological breakthrough in treating infertility has made Glory and Johnson happy parents.
I'm so satisfied, I'm so happy. And when I came here for echography and I realized the babies were not even one, it was two, the joy instead increased.
As my wife said, we were expecting one, but God gave us two, and not only two, gave us a boy and a girl. So we have a prince and a princess.
Like in many other African countries, infertile couples that fail to get children suffer stigma in Cameroon. In societies where there is still belief in superstition, families say they are cursed. More seriously, infertility leads to separation and even worse, divorce.
An African woman who does not conceive is considered as good as not alive in Africa. She automatically is expected to have a baby because here we don't have the culture of adopting pets as in other places. So when you don't have a child in Africa, especially when you're a woman, you can't be considered. At this clinic in Douala, infertile women and couples who've spent years looking for children come seeking to smile again with the satisfaction of conceiving. Infertility is mainly caused by infections, poor sperm quality or blocked fallopian tubes. Medically assisted reproduction is simply a scientific aid that doctors provide to couples who do not have the possibility to naturally have a child.
For women worldwide, it's ovulation disorders. That's the first cause. But for us in Africa, the first cause is a condition linked to the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes are small, thin tubes that produce eggs of the woman and allow them to be found by the man's sperm. So when the fallopian tubes are blocked, obviously the meeting of the two is not possible. Pregnancy is not possible.
La rencontre des deux gamètes n'est pas possible, il n'y a pas de grossesse possible.
Nous avons également des études qui nous permettent de mener.
At Dr. Ernestine Guetbel's clinic, an embryonic culture takes place in the laboratory.
Lorsque la fertilité est également d'origine.
Immature egg cells are collected and studied under the microscope. The sperm cells are selected and the biologist puts the eggs in contact with the sperm cells. The embryo transfer into the uterus takes place in the puncture room of the patient, in this case with someone who's been desperately looking for a child for 9 years.
Ici, nous allons mettre un cathéter fin, stérile, à usage unique, qui va permettre le passage des embryons.
According to the African Association of Fertility Specialists, the success rate depends on the age of the woman. The younger she is, the more likely she is to conceive.
Most couples whose sperm is of poor quality or the fallopian tubes are clogged and who have been looking for children for several years, it's better to seek medical assistance for procreation. This can be artificial insemination when the fallopian tubes are good and if the semen is not of good quality. So we take the husband's sperm and treat it and put it in the woman's uterus at the time of ovulation. And it can also be in vitro fertilization, that is to say, everything concerning blocked fallopian tubes, poor quality sperm, and there are two types. There's conventional in vitro fertilization and there is intracytoplasm sperm injection concerning poor quality of sperms.
C'est l'étape la plus agréable parce qu'on espère avoir un bébé, on a les embryons.
Once the transfer is complete, the patient will have to wait a few weeks to find out if she's pregnant or not. From the age of 38, it starts to decrease. At 40, it is down sharply, and at 42 or 43, it goes down completely. It is in this case that medically assisted reproduction must be used.
The percentage of success for the medically assisted reproduction is universally known. The rates in Europe are the same rates at the level of our center. That is to say, it varies between 30 and 35%. It can go to 40% for certain people. Therefore, there are more chances that a woman may have to get pregnant.
In Cameroon today, there are 3 centers of medically assisted reproduction. The infertile couples come every day for consultations, despite the fact that chances of success, according to physicians, are just around 30 to 35%. Some have taken 2 to 3 attempts, meaning that thousands of dollars are spent to be able to give birth. Doctors justify this high cost with the resources needed to operate.
It must be understood that the medically assisted reproduction technology is fairly new. It is still very, very expensive. It is very, very difficult. It is very costly to be able to mount a laboratory of LDCs. It is too binding on the plant material as well as on the plan of conservation, on the plan of maintenance, on the plan of even qualified staff to be able to take care, not to load the patient to this level.
In the African tradition, a child has no price. Dr. Gwetbel further explains that in reality, this medically assisted reproduction is not as expensive as the common Cameroonian thinks.
Obviously, there is a high cost, but I do not think the problem of cost is really decisive because we have studied it at the giraffe level. The African Society of Fertility Specialists in French-speaking Africa. Results have shown that young women who are starting to look for children, when they are going to conceive, it will happen between 7 and 10 years. These couples spend money on quacks and traditionalists and various doctors who are not specialists in the subject. They'll have to spend something that is equivalent to the order of 2 to 3 vitro fertilizations.
One thing is certain, though, with technological advancements in the field of reproductive health, this induced procedure is now the last resort for infertile couples.
Medically assisted reproduction carried out in Cameroon since 1998 has given hope to many women who had never thought they'd be able to conceive. Today, more than 800 test tube babies have been born in Cameroon thanks to this technological advancement. The only obstacle for many Cameroonian women is the high cost of the procedure. Some couples can spend up to $3,000 to have a baby. This medically assisted reproduction is unfortunately a luxury for the poor who can't afford it.
Africa News.